Undertaker may have gone too far, but what's done is done.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, approaching the ring from Blackpool, England, weighing in at 245 pounds, William Regal.
I can't speak for The Undertaker, but I don't think The Undertaker particularly cares who he tombstones. Muhammad Hassan's attorney was in the ring. He fell victim to the dead man, and in my opinion, Muhammad Hassan will fall victim at the Great American Bash. SmackDown presents the Great American Bash, sponsored by WWE.com. The Great American Bash will be live in just 8 days from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, New York, and exclusively on pay-per-view.
What a main event. This should be tremendous.
And from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 234 pounds, the Rabbit Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit has been world heavyweight champion, but at the Great American Bash, Chris Benoit goes one-on-one with Orlando Jordan for the United States Championship.
Speaking of the Bash, the WWE continues to show its support for U.S. troops. The WWE will offer the Great American Bash to all the U.S. troops overseas for free. Go to WWE.com for all the details.
Well, the WWE superstars have been to Iraq a couple of times. The WWE superstars love entertaining and supporting and thanking our great troops.
And there's no doubt that I think it's a morale booster for the troops, Josh. They've really enjoyed the troops over there.
Oh, absolutely.
And right here, get ready to enjoy a tremendous main event as Chris Benoit matches up here with William Regal.
A little history. A few years ago, Chris Benoit and William Regal were involved in a match at the Brian Pillman Memorial Show, and many people believe that that match was the match of the year, one of the greatest matches of all time. If you want to be in sports entertainment, go back, watch that match, and take notes. Two great superstars involved in that one.
No doubt, Josh, and two superstars, perhaps the toughest on either roster, Chris Benoit and William Regal.
Oh, William Regal is triple tough. He's like a barroom brawler. Chris Benoit is a technical machine, a technical genius. It'll be great to see how they match up, just feeling each other out so far in this match.
The strength of both men on display here.
Look at that. William Regal trying to reverse that top wrist lock. Chris Benoit did not allow him to do so and locked in an armbar.
Regal rolls out, then the snapmare, but Benoit able to escape. Again, the quickness by Benoit.
This is chain wrestling at its best. You are witnessing it right here on Velocity.
Hey, Josh, how about the fact that The Undertaker, Muhammad Hassan sitting attorney out there to say that, hey, he's going to take a leave of absence. The Undertaker comes out and totally destroys this guy.
Well, Muhammad Hassan is taking a leave of absence until the Great American Bash. Muhammad Hassan instead choosing WWE.com as a forum to express his opinions. You can check that out on WWE.com.
William Regal getting his left arm torqued on. We'll be back with more of this match in a moment. Welcome back. Chris Benoit and William Regal involved in a tremendous match. Regal right now showing his strength, and look at the flexibility by Chris Benoit. Not only that, Josh, the strength of his surgically repaired neck.
Chris Benoit trying to do whatever he can to gain some leverage. William Regal with that test of strength, and that is pure strength by Chris Benoit, not breaking that back bridge, even with the knee from William Regal.
Benoit having enough strength to make it to his feet and do the same thing to William Regal, who also goes to the bridge. Tremendous strength displayed by both these superstars.
A smart move by William Regal. They're quickly dropping to his back, turning outside, and then getting Benoit in a head scissors. Watch William Regal. He won't line up with Chris Benoit. He'll turn to his side.
Oh, a headbutt by Chris Benoit.
That was thud.
Oh, that was brutal. You can hear it right here at ringside. Monkey foot by Chris Benoit. He's got Regal on his back and starts hammering away on Regal. And Josh, I believe Regal's been busted open.
And Chris Benoit like a shark now, smelling blood. I believe it was from that headbutt.
Well, Regal gets up to his feet. He starts the headbutt, but Benoit's is just brutal. That's where he was cut.
And now Chris Benoit going after that cut on the top of the head of William Regal. And now William Regal has to worry about the blood dripping down into his eyes.
Vision definitely a problem when you're trying to wrestle somebody the stature of the Rabid Wolverine. What is he doing?
I have never seen that before. William Regal grabbing his own leg to block Chris Benoit from getting that full Nelson in. And now a dragon suplex by Chris Benoit.
Both superstars down. Chris Benoit trying to gain his air. And William Regal really wondering where he's at, Josh. His vision has got to be blurred by that blood. Taking a big hit on the back and shoulders as well as the base of his neck.
An amazing exchange by Chris Benoit and William Regal. Both going for full Nelsons. Chris Benoit finally turned it into a dragon suplex.
Not only is Regal bleeding, the big chop by Benoit to the head and face of William Regal, who right now is not having time to compose himself because the Rabid Wolverine is on top of him.
Chris Benoit relentlessly going after that wound on the head of William Regal. Chris Benoit is a machine.
William Regal right now trying to find himself, able to grab that second rope, and Benoit's going to help him up for a moment. Not for long. Oh, and a knee right to the forehead of William Regal.
And just watch Chris Benoit just stalking William Regal. Hands locked. William Regal counters. Benoit right back.
German suplex by Chris Benoit. Regal tried to get Benoit to let go with those elbows, thundering elbows, unable to do so. Benoit lands that German suplex, both superstars down.
This is a fight, but it is also a chess game between Chris Benoit and William Regal.
Two superstars with great ring strategy and great strength. Regal comes back with a knee to the head and shoulders of Chris Benoit. And now has an opportunity to get on top of Benoit. The cover, two. Benoit able to get that left shoulder up. How about one more time? William Regal with that blood, Josh, trying to end it here. And unable to do so. Chris Benoit on the count of two again gets off his shoulders. Unbelievable. Determination by Benoit.
William Regal going for about 5 or 6 pinning opportunities there, but every time he did, Chris Benoit had to use all of his strength to kick out. A great strategy by William Regal.
Regal now getting that figure 4 leg lock in.
This is a Regal stretch. William Regal is going for the Regal stretch, and if he gets it locked in, Chris Benoit is in trouble.
Regal working hard. Look at that crossface. Not just a little crossface. Hammering that forearm into Chris Benoit's face. But Benoit able to climb up, get to the rope. William Regal has to break the hold. Wow. Regal with the kick to the upper back of Chris Benoit.
See William Regal trying to turn, trying to get Chris Benoit off his feet. William Regal with a chicken wing applied now to Chris Benoit.
Digging that wrist into Benoit's face. Benoit up on one knee.
Look at the hand strength of Chris Benoit. Just using his hand, his bare hand, to stop William Regal from locking in that chicken wing.
And you see these superstars lock in these holds, the strength that it takes. You know that it's draining them as the moments wear on in this match, Josh.
And now William Regal perhaps going for a surfboard. Has both hands now of Chris Benoit. William Regal will sit back now and stretch out the entire upper body and the esophagus of Chris Benoit.
The pressure that has got to be putting on Benoit's shoulders in the rotator cuff area every time Regal cranks down on that arm.
And now Chris Benoit, and the human body is not meant to bend this way. Chris Benoit has no oxygen going to his lungs right now. Chris Benoit may pass out.
Benoit showing incredible flexibility. And right now, William Regal in control. Benoit with the elbow. This red-hot match continues right after this. Welcome back. Steve Romero alongside Josh Matthews, and this has been an unbelievable match. William Regal with the schoolboy here on the Rabid Wolverine on the count to 2.
You know, Chris Benoit is trying to pick the legs, trying to go for a single leg or a double leg. He hasn't been successful, and now William Regal with the backslide.
Backslide and a count to 2. Benoit able to flip out, and
there's
now
the
he's flipped Regal over.
There's the double leg right there. Going for the sharpshooter. Chris Benoit has locked in the sharpshooter.
Right now, William Regal doing everything he can to stay in this match. Benoit forcing all the strength he has down on the those legs and ankles of William Regal, who desperately is trying to grab that rope, Josh, and he's not there.
William Regal may tap out to the sharpshooter here by Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit sitting down on the sharpshooter right now. William Regal now back in the middle of the ring.
Benoit drags William Regal back to the middle of the ring, has that force down on his legs and ankles. Benoit just dripping sweat. He's got to be tremendously strong this late in the match to be able to hold this.
This is a tremendous way to end this match. Chris Benoit with the sharpshooter locked down. William Regal is gonna have to tap out.
Regal stretching and reaching the rope. Chris Benoit has to break the sharpshooter.
And look at William Regal. William Regal, he may be done. William Regal is out.
Both superstars gasping for air. They've left everything in the ring, somehow trying to will their way to their feet.
This match has become an instant classic here on Saturday night.
William Regal starts with the kicks, the left foot, then the left knee to Benoit. Two warriors gone through a brutal beating. William Regal with the cover on Benoit. The count gets to 2. Wow.
And now you look at William Regal. He's taking Chris Benoit's neck and he's driving it forward, his chin right into his body so that Chris Benoit won't be able to breathe.
Regal's hair crimson, full of blood from the headbutt he suffered earlier in this match, but able to keep going.
I'm sure if you asked William Regal, I'm sure this man knows millions of ways to just take a guy's head. He's a fighter. William Regal's been in millions of fights in his life.
Benoit now trying to counter Regal, who's got the hands locked in and this underhook. Oh! Benoit somehow lifts the entire body mass of William Regal up.
What? Look at that. William Regal has now hooked Chris Benoit, not allowing Chris Benoit to roll over and pin William Regal.
What a counter.
Like I said, this is a human chess match. William Regal again has the double underhook locked in. William Regal has his hands locked.
Regal working the knees, and then the underhook and the toss. Benoit flat on his back, as is Regal, both trying to summon the strength to finish this match off.
A double underhook or a butterfly suplex by Regal.
A count to 2, Benoit able to kick out with what energy he has left. Again, a count to 2. One more time. William Regal desperately trying to finish this match. He's unable to do so. Maybe here, no.
Again, William Regal with his body draped over Chris Benoit's. Every single time Chris Benoit has to kick out, he has to pop his hips, use all of his strength to do so.
Drop kick by William Regal. Perhaps this is it. Chris Benoit flat on his back. Regal stained with blood makes the cover, the count to 2. Wow.
And you notice William Regal, after Chris Benoit kicks out, William Regal right back on top of the rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Oh, looked like a tombstone by Regal, but Benoit able to kick his legs and flail him, reverses it on Regal.
A shoulder breaker there by Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit perhaps setting up for the crossface. This may be it for William Regal if Chris Benoit goes for the crossface.
Benoit struggling to keep going and finds the energy somehow.
There it is.
Banging away on Regal, trying to get that crossface in, and there it is. Regal taps out.
Here's your winner, the Rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Josh, this crowd saw an unbelievable match, and they're letting the superstars know it.
A 5-star match by the rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit and William Regal. Chris Benoit went for the crossface. Regal tried to counter. Chris Benoit broke the counter and forced William Regal to tap out.
Benoit with his eye on the United States title of the Great American Bash. He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Romero. Talk to you next week.
Turn it up.
Well, how about that? An introduction to Palmer Cannon, who canceled a pillow fight.
Yeah, I really don't understand why Mr. Cannon decided to do that.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Westbrook, Maine, weighing in at 280 pounds. Scotty, Hotty.
Well, who knows why anybody does anything, but Scotty Hotty looking very forward to this match with William Regal.
Well, we have been waiting for this match all night, and here it is. Scotty Hotty versus William Regal. And tonight, WWE Velocity is being brought to you by Skechers. Increase your action every way you play. Footwear for men and women.
And by WWE Day of Reckoning 2. The line between friend and foe is not always clear. This time, trust no one.
And by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler.
Well, I tell you one thing. Scotty Too Hotty will not trust William Regal.
Blackpool, England, weighing in at 245 pounds, William Regal.
William Regal set to go one-on-one with Scotty Too Hotty. You may notice the chest of William Regal beat red. That is due to Hardcore Holly, who William Regal had a match with earlier this weekend. I believe any superstar who has a match with Hardcore Holly leaves with a souvenir.
Yeah, I noticed that right away, Josh. William Regal definitely took some shots, and he's so arrogant when he comes to the ring. And Scotty Too Hotty wants none of it.
Here we go.
Regal over the ropes, he still has everything on. He has not disrobed yet. Get it? Robed, disrobed.
Yeah, I got it. Scotty Too Hotty wasting little time, making his presence felt.
Scotty on the second rope, hammering away on William Regal, who managed to push Scotty away, but not for long.
Well, there we know, network executive stopping this match. We're going hardcore right now on Velocity.
William Regal trying to get his wits about him in this main event matchup here on Velocity. Big old right hand by Scotty Too Hotty, in the robe still dangling from William Regal. Scotty Too Hotty doing what he needs to do, Josh, taking advantage of the cover to two. Almost ends this quickly. Oh, and the scoundrel asks for a moment and takes advantage of it.
Oh, William Regal using the pants there of Scotty Too Hotty to whip Scotty Too Hotty out of the ring. William Regal said, going back to his old ways, a scoundrel, a rogue full of bile and venom.
Well, we finally see William Regal get rid of his robe, and we were hoping to see this past week on SmackDown some extra clothes in the ring, as there was a lingerie pillow fight scheduled between Stacy Keeper and Christy Hemme, with the network executive Palmer Cannon cancel it.
Well, Palmer Cannon seems to have the best interest of SmackDown at heart, maybe not the best interest of the SmackDown fans. Don't forget, Palmer Cannon also set up a huge match for just 2 weeks. When SmackDown moves to Friday nights, it will be JBL versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. A SummerSlam rematch. No, Steve Merrill, by the way, you can see that lingerie pillow fight on WWE.com. I've watched it 127 times, and my hand is so sore.
I bet, from pushing that button, didn't it?
That's right, you know, the repeat button on my computer.
I understand. William Regal using his cheapness and nastiness and anything outside of the rules to subdue Scotty Too Hotty. Well, the bottom line is, so far, this network exec, he's done one great thing, I guess, and helping Teddy Long make this match with Batista and JBL. But what man with the pulse doesn't want to see a lingerie pillow fight? Come on. With the dude to Stevens from SmackDown. Come on, the cover here. William Regal nearly gets Scotty Too Hotty. Scotty fighting up with all he's got. Regal trying to end this thing now. Scotty Too Hotty not cooperating.
4 pinning opportunities there by William Regal on Scotty Too Hotty, and I've said this in the past. Every time you go to pin someone, they must exert all of their energy just to kick out, which Scotty Too Hotty did just 4 times. That's a lot of times trying to kick out.
Almost as many times you hit that button on the computer to watch the lingerie pillow fight.
That was 127 times.
Back body drop by Scotty Too Hotty. The quick cover on William Regal. The count to 2, no.
Well, let's see if Scotty Too Hotty buys it one more time from William Regal. Regal trying to back off.
Yeah, Regal using everything in the arsenal to try to keep Scotty Too Hotty from applying some punishment, but it's not working. You know, Teddy Long, we'll have to wait and see about Teddy Long. You know, he's going to have perhaps a strange relationship with this Palmer Cannon.
We'll find out in the upcoming weeks on SmackDown. I can't wait to see what goes down this upcoming week when SmackDown heads to Florida. Jacksonville, that is.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Let's go, come on, 6.
And Scotty Too Hotty in a bunch just falls off the apron onto the mats outside of the ring. He has been beaten down, and William Regal has has used every tactic and dirty tactic in the book to do so.
And we'll see what William Regal does here. Maybe William Regal will just let Scotty too hot to get counted out, and Regal can win this match by countout.
Scotty too hot, he's seeing the count of 7 reached and trying to get back inside the ring. Perhaps he's going to get a little help here.
That's smart there. William Regal saw that Scotty too hot was going to beat the 10 count, so Regal decided to pull Scotty back into the ring by his ear.
Oh, great counter by Scotty too hot, and the roll-up by Regal. He gets a count to 2.
And William Regal using all that lower body strength to kick off Scotty too hot.
And using a knee to the back of the head of Scotty too hot. How nasty is this? William Regal beating away on Scotty too hot.
Well, Scotty too hot is just exposed right now, has no protection, and William Regal is just completely taking advantage.
Scotty's got to regroup. He's got to regroup, Josh. He can either get in the ring or get out of the ring, because right now William Regal can use everything as his weapons, especially those ropes.
William Regal just stalking Scotty too hotty at this point.
Regal grabbing the nose and eyes and mouth of Scotty too hotty. He is a scoundrel, a dirty pool player, a rogue, and right now, ruthless.
Well, I don't know how William Regal plays pool, but I do know what he does inside that ring.
It cannot be a good thing that William Regal is back to his old ways for many of the superstars on the SmackDown roster.
Scotty too hotty's been on his back for quite some time in this matchup. William Regal now has Scotty down, and Scotty too hotty may be out.
Scotty doing everything he can to hold on, and William Regal trying to get Scotty to quit.
And now look at William Regal right now, just going after that nose, using his hands to get inside the eyes, get inside the mouth, get inside the nose. William Regal, he will fight dirty and then some.
Use everything he can to come out on top. Scotty too hot, he builds to the vertical base, however. He's got some hope.
This match all started when William Regal walked out of a tag team match with Scotty too hotty. Scotty too hotty looking for revenge on Velocity, and he might get some right now.
Scotty picks that leg, got the jackknife with the cover, the count to 2. Quick move by Scotty too hotty, almost into this match. Big back body drop.
And right now, this is that flurry by Scotty too hotty. If William Regal can survive this, then Regal will be in good shape. But if not, this match is going to be over soon.
Scotty too hotty with a couple of right hands and then off the ropes with the forearm shiver, the count to 2. William Regal able to get that left shoulder up. This has been tremendous. Both superstars being on top of this match. It's been an ebb and flow. Scotty off the ropes, ducks it, and then hits Regal square with the kick. This could do it.
One more move, and Scotty too hotty will defeat William Regal here on Saturday night.
And here it comes.
What the hell? Who the hell?
With a nasty, vicious clothesline. Who is this?
Who the hell is this in the ring right now?
Scotty too hotty, twitching on the canvas, was blindsided, just ready to finish up William Regal.
This guy's gonna go after William Regal now.
What's he doing? Came out of nowhere. Well, apparently he won't go after Regal, but they'll start inflicting damage on Scotty too hotty, who's already dazed and confused.
I think now we're starting to figure out that this was a premeditated assault by William Regal, and whoever this is inside the ring, the Regal stretch. This match is over. This means nothing at this point, except for adding insult to injury to Scotty too hotty.
No, and he loves that. Regal loves this. The abuse and the punishment he can deal out. Oh! Both these men taking advantage of Scotty too hotty. William Regal said he was going to be nasty and a rogue. Well, he certainly has been.
Well, a rogue is someone who usually travels alone. William Regal is not alone right now. William Regal.
Well, he certainly has taken the spotlight. That's for certain. Serving notice to anybody that deals with him that he will be a dangerous man.
I don't think William Regal cares one damn bit that he lost this match. William Regal came, saw, and conquered, leaving Scotty too hotty down with the help of whoever this massive man is.
Tell you what, we'll find out what happens. SmackDown in Jacksonville this next week. He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Merrill. Talk to you next week.
Following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring from England at a combined weight of 504 pounds, Paul Burchill and William Regal.
Welcome to Velocity. Steve Romero alongside Josh Matthews. What a way to start off some tag team action.
This is going to be a great match. We know that Scotty, Hotty, and Funaki have a score to settle with William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Definitely have some issues.
And at a combined weight of 393 pounds, Funaki and Scotty Hotty.
Two tag teams certainly on opposite ends of the spectrum. The nasty and notorious William Regal and Paul Burchill. And I guess the fun and fantastic Scotty Hotty and Funaki.
Well, somebody call my mama.
What's that?
I honestly don't know. I never knew.
Really? You got me completely confused, but that's okay. We got to imagine there's a little underlying issue here, Josh, that has been going on for quite some time.
Well, Paul Burchill first made his WWE appearance, his debut, during a match between Scotty Hotty and William Regal. Paul Burchill got his first assist during that match, helping William Regal defeat Scotty Hotty.
Scotty Hotty has not forgotten about that. And despite the fact that Scotty and Funaki will have a big size differential, the bottom line is they're quicker. They've got to use that speed to stay in this match with Burchill and William Regal.
Well, everyone knows that speed kills, and Funaki and Scotty Hotty definitely have the speed advantage in this tag team matchup, and the underlying factor also in this matchup is real estate. You don't want to give up too much real estate, meaning that Funaki's going to want to keep Paul Burchill in Funaki's half of the ring.
Burchill, with a headlock on, flips Funaki over to the mat. Funaki began the match by working on that left arm of Burchill, but Burchill strong enough to break out of it.
And other than the fact that William Regal found Paul Burchill in England, that's about all we know about Paul Burchill. We don't know too much about Paul Burchill, besides the fact that he can beat you up inside the ring.
No doubt, and he is nasty, and right now using that nastiness, bending the rules, using Funaki's hair to his advantage. Funaki with a big hip toss on Burchill, and then coming back with an arm drag, and working on that left arm we saw at the beginning of the match.
Different strategy than I thought that Funaki would bring into this match. I thought that Funaki would want to try to use a high-flying game, but instead Funaki has actually brought it to a mat game and slowed down Paul Burchill.
Excellent point. Funaki wants to keep his distance, I would think.
Yeah, but that's not what we're seeing from Funaki so far, and Funaki is the in-ring veteran. Funaki bringing a different kind of game plan, perhaps throwing Paul Burchill off of his game plan.
But every time Funaki starts working on that left arm of Burchill's trying to slow him down, Burchill seems to be grabbing the hair of Funaki and working that angle, and doing so quite well.
Great move there by Funaki, went for that drop toe hold. Countered by William Regal, and Funaki quickly turned it into an armbar, and here comes Scotty Hotty.
Yeah, great move by Funaki, dragging William Regal over the corner where he can get that tag, and both Scotty and Funaki can work on Regal for a few seconds. Speaking of a few seconds, Friday Night SmackDown action-packed last night. How about Chris Benoit beating Orlando Jordan again? I sound like a broken record. He didn't beat the record of 25.5 seconds, however, or 22.5 seconds.
Well, Chris Benoit defeated Orlando Jordan in 49.8 seconds. Orlando Jordan was busy celebrating the fact that he outlasted 25.5 seconds. And then Chris Benoit locked on the crossface. Orlando Jordan thanks for coming.
Scotty Hotty celebrating a little rally here on William Regal. But getting back to Orlando, how could you possibly celebrate after surviving through 30 seconds? He got distracted by that, and Benoit took advantage of him.
Well, that's the point. Orlando Jordan was celebrating the fact that he finally reportedly was in the ring with Chris Benoit for longer than 25.5 seconds. An accomplishment in itself for Orlando Jordan.
William Regal really working that knee to the throat of Scotty Too Hotty, and then Burchill with the uppercut. You know what? I'd put my money on you lasting 30 seconds with Benoit. You're quick, fast. You can run around for that long?
No.
All right, bad bet then?
That's definitely a bad bet.
Okay. I thought maybe I could go into something.
And I don't want to find out who might would win that bet. Paul Burchill, shades of poker face.
Cover right here. Scotty Too Hotty was a count to 2. And what did you say?
Never mind.
You know, it takes a few seconds for the synapses to fire when you say something. Great work by William Regal and Paul Burchill, double teaming Scotty Too Hotty. Those ribs exposed. Scotty Too Hotty took a big shot, and when you get hit the ribs like that, very tough to breathe. And then followed over by a suplex like that. And the cover to 2. Scotty Too Hotty gets that left shoulder up, and again, a third time. Scotty Too Hotty is still alive and kicking.
We know the history between William Regal and Scotty Too Hotty. They were tag team partners a few weeks ago, and William Regal just left Scotty Too Hotty high and tried to get beat down by the Mexicools. Ever since then, William Regal has been a marked man thanks to Scotty Too Hotty.
Suplex by Burchill, the cover on Too Hotty, and Scotty Too Hotty's been almost pinned 4 or 5 times now. He desperately needs to work for that tag. You know, speaking about work, how do you like the early work of one Mr. Kennedy? He's been unbelievable. We saw him approach Charmel a couple of weeks ago and asked why Booker T's friend, Chris Benoit, has not given Booker a title shot yet.
And then, of course, last night on Friday Night SmackDown, Charmel, after helping her husband Booker T defeat Christian, well, then Charmel kind of got in the ear of Booker saying, hey, you know, why hasn't Chris Benoit given you a title opportunity?
Well, you know as well as I do, Josh, that when a woman, especially your wife, is right by you and makes a suggestion, you know how that works with your mind.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. My soon-to-be wife, my fiance, always says to me, why you let Steve Amaro talk? Why? Just tell the guy not to talk. You just talk for 60 minutes. And I say, listen, honey, I know, but the guy's got to do his job, and well, never mind.
I leave it right down the middle of the plate, and, you know, you don't miss it. Whatever. I'm trying to be a nice guy this week, and look where it gets me. Whatever. Funaki off the top rope. The cross body by Funaki. He's fired up. Goes over to William Regal. Lands an elbow on him. Burchill in big trouble. The big back body drop by Funaki, followed by a drop kick. And the bulldog by Funaki. This could be it.
I let the bodies hit the floor.
Wow. Look at Funaki. All that energy. The back kick to the back of the neck of Regal. And all 4 superstars in the ring.
I gotta say, it's breaking down on Velocity.
Funaki on the second rope, trying to work free, but gets caught. Oh, and his shoulders coming down the knee of Regal and Burchill, respectively. Now Burchill has got a submission hold locked in on Funaki. This could tear his shoulder right out of the socket. Rip all those muscles and tendons if Funaki does not get out of this. Regal, for good measure, stomps on the back of it. That's it. That's it. Funaki taps out.
Here are your winners, Paul Burchill and William Regal.
That was nasty, to say the least.
Gotta give credit to Funaki. He was watching to see if Scotty Too Hotty was gonna get in the ring and be able to help him out. Scotty got stopped by William Regal, and Funaki, well, he was forced to tap out to Paul Burchill.
A nasty pair.
Making his way to the ring from Blackpool, England, weighing 245 pounds, William Regal.
William Regal has gone back to his nasty ways. A scoundrel, a rogue, a man who will do anything it takes to win, and he's done so the past few weeks.
And we've also seen William Regal with his new apprentice, if you will, Paul Burchill. This Paul Burchill is just as mean and is just as a rogue as William Regal together. Paul Burchill and William Regal are trouble. And Regal right now with a huge opportunity to become the United States champion here on Velocity.
That is correct, but to do so, he will have to take that nastiness to a very new level. Should be a tremendous main event. Chris Benoit defending the United States title against William Regal. These two men met not too long ago, and it was a brutal, brutal match.
One of the best matches we have ever seen in the history of Velocity. And Chris Benoit is trying to prove that he is the most fighting champion in United States Championship history, the 30-year history of that great championship.
There's no doubt Chris Benoit will defend his United States title in a fatal four-way at No Mercy, but Benoit willing to put it on the line against William Regal here on Velocity.
And this, my friends, will be a fight between William Regal and Chris Benoit.
Benoit perhaps trying to end it early to get that crossface in. William Regal counters. Benoit unable to do so. Regal took so much punishment the last time these two met, as did Benoit, both able to deal it out and take that abuse.
William Regal has noted that anytime he is in the ring with Chris Benoit, these two men will try to headbutt each other until they knock the other one out or make it bleed.
The crowd just blowing the roof off this place when Chris Benoit came out. Very supportive. Right now, some technical aspects going on, Josh.
Well, that's what's going to happen in this whole matchup. William Regal and Chris Benoit will get on that mat, and they will fight, they will wrestle, they will go move for move until one man has an opening.
Benoit with his shoulders down, Regal able to get a count to two. Benoit not in that much danger, able to get that shoulder up. This time, a little more weight applied by William Regal. Benoit able to get out of trouble once again.
You're not going to see a whole lot of high-flying Arsenal attacks in this matchup. It will be pound for pound a fight. Nice body scissors there.
Oh. Benoit pounding away on the head and neck area of William Regal. Regal there just absorbing the blows.
Chris Benoit now mounting William Regal, and there's those headbutts.
Oh, we saw this the last time they met. Josh, you could actually hear these headbutts here at ringside.
And watch William Regal there, rolling on his back, trying to keep Benoit away from his head, trying to keep Benoit on the southern half of his body.
Benoit using his head as a weapon, just pounding into Regal, and now booting him with that left foot.
You want to stop? Yeah. Back it out of the corner. Back it up.
Blood already present on these two superstars. Josh, when you use those headbutts as a weapon like that, you hit that head in the right spot, you can completely knock somebody out.
Yeah, but my question is, whose blood is it? Is it William Regal's blood, or is it Chris Benoit's?
Regal in a crumpled pile in the corner, trying to gain his wits. When you get butted like that, it's like getting a concussion. You're a little dazed, trying to figure out which way is up.
And William Regal has nowhere to go. Chris Benoit on the attack now. The rabid Wolverine just assaulting William Regal.
Benoit with the German suplex on William Regal, who takes the opportunity to roll out of the ring, get out from that bottom rope. Benoit sees an opportunity, the baseball slide out of the ring. William Regal with the great counter right here outside of the ring on those thin mats. Both superstars down. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Velocity. William Regal trying to gain the advantage on Chris Benoit, and right now has done so, grinding that elbow into the face of Benoit, who Benoit has been using that head as a weapon against William Regal.
Well, William Regal needed to do something. Chris Benoit was in control from the very beginning of this matchup. William Regal went to the outside of the ring and a beautiful suplex. And now William Regal is in control.
William Regal now picking his body choice of what he is going to focus on. It appears that left hamstring and upper leg of Chris Benoit will be the target. Regal grinding that elbow into the face of Benoit. You know, this past week on SmackDown, General Manager Theodore Long announced that Chris Benoit would indeed choose to defend his United States title at No Mercy, and he would choose his opponent. But being Chris Benoit, it wasn't just a normal choosing of an opponent.
Well, Christian, Booker T, and Orlando Jordan all feel that they should be next in line for an opportunity at the United States Championship. And Chris Benoit said, okay, all three of you guys can be next. A huge fatal four-way matchup as per Chris Benoit for the United States Championship at No Mercy.
William Regal working on the left hamstring and a cover and a count to one. Benoit right now trying to battle through as William Regal's really trying to separate that hamstring from the bone on the leg of Chris Benoit. That is a painful, painful thing. You can incapacitate opponent by tearing that hamstring.
And just think about this for a second. Chris Benoit knows he's going to be fighting not one, not two, but three men at No Mercy in a match where Chris Benoit doesn't even have to be pinned to lose the United States Championship. And here Chris Benoit right now defending his title yet again here against William Regal.
That's right. In a fatal four-way, the champion does not have to be pinned in order for the title to change hands, and that's what makes it so dangerous. But Chris Benoit, as we said, he doesn't care. He takes on all comers. He's that confident in his abilities. William Regal right now really making an effort to incapacitate Chris Benoit. Benoit used his head as a weapon. Right now, Regal doing all he can to really hammer away on that left hamstring and upper leg.
Regal allowing some separation now between himself and Benoit as William Regal just stalks the United States champion.
Benoit right now trying to recover. He is hampered by that leg, and Regal, to his advantage, and a good move, continues to hammer away. Benoit smartly grabs that bottom rope. Regal's going to have to break that count by the count of 5.
And Chris Benoit, in his career, has made some of the greatest superstars in this business tap out. Chris Benoit became the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 20, where he made Triple H tap out.
Regal with the backbreaker on Chris Benoit and taking that knee into the lower back, and again pulling on that hamstring, and that right there, John, it's so painful even if you actually strain that muscle. To have somebody with his strength, William Regal's strength, pull and tug at that.
And look at Benoit fighting through the pain. Chris Benoit trying to get that crossface in.
Benoit causing some pain to William Regal right now. And hey, you gotta wonder what's gonna happen this week on SmackDown when Batista finds out what really happened during his
crossface.
Chris Benoit putting in the crossface just at the time when William Regal reached for that rope. That's probably the only thing that saved Regal, because once Benoit gets that crossface locked in, it's over.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Steve Romero.
That's okay.
I thought the match was going to be over.
Well, you know, it's a good time to interrupt, right?
Oh! Fisherman's Buster there by William Regal.
Regal now with the opportunity. Is this it? This could be it. The count to 2, and Chris Benoit able to get that right shoulder up again. A count to 2. Regal using everything he can, trying to take advantage of the situation he has at hand. The United States Championship nearly changing hands.
And you see how William Regal doesn't allow Chris Benoit to get away, but Benoit with the Enziguri, and Regal now maybe out.
Benoit with that shot to the back of the head of William Regal, and he's dazed. There it is, the crossface is in, and it doesn't take long. William Regal tapping out. Wow.
Your winner and still the WWE United States Champion, Chris Benoit.
The champion that continues to fight. Is there any other move in wrestling that can make an opponent tap out quicker than the crossface?
And Chris Benoit can lock in that crossface from anywhere in the ring. Christian, Booker T, and Orlando Jordan, you are officially on notice for No Mercy in a huge fatal four-way match for the United States Championship.
Chris Benoit continues his role with the victory over William Regal. He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Romero. We will talk to you next week. Oh, the evil, dastardly one. William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Approaching the ring, the challengers from England at a combined weight of 504 pounds, Paul Burchill and William Regal.
What an opportunity for Burchill and Regal. And Josh, they may just be the style that has a chance to take the titles from LOD. Sourpuss. Not you. Regal. Here they are. The champs. Are you ignoring me for some reason?
I'm excited!
And at a combined weight of 570 pounds, they are the Tag Team Champions, Road Warrior Animal and Heidenreich.
This is the first opportunity that you and I have had to see the Legion of Doom defend their WWE Tag Team titles here on Velocity. I'm pumped up!
And I'll tell you what, Velocity fans, can you ask for more? We had the Cruiserweight Championship earlier. Now we have LOD defending those WWE Tag Team titles against the dastardly and wicked William Regal and Paul Burchill.
And just imagine this upcoming week on SmackDown, a huge fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE Tag Team titles. But the question is now, who will the champions be? Will it be LOD or will it be William Regal and Paul Burchill?
Well, we're about to find out. The Legion of Doom has really quickly disposed of their opponents, but Burchill and Regal, that tag team that perhaps can hang in there and come up with some dirty tricks to hang in against LOD and perhaps steal those titles.
And anything can happen here in the WWE. I mean, William Regal and Paul Burchill can win the tag team titles here, and LOD have an opportunity to win them back on SmackDown. You got the Raw superstars coming to SmackDown, and chaos is breaking out.
And I'll tell you what, Burchill is a guy that can torment you. He loves to torture. He loves to make people have pain. He loves to make them hurt. And right now, putting a hurt on Heidenreich, pounding away in the corner.
You know, you just made that description. You could have been describing any man in this matchup. I mean, Heidenreich is basically the same as Paul Burchill. He loves to hurt people. He loves to wear people down. William Regal is a vile rogue, and Regal will do the same thing.
Look at the tag team effort right here by Burchill and Regal. Tagging quickly, keeping Heidenreich in their part of the corner. Their part of the ring anyway, in the corner. You got what I was talking about.
That's the thing. William Regal and Paul Burchill, in the short amount of a time that they have been a tag team, they work so well together. They feed off of each other. One man will keep the referee distracted. That's tag team wrestling 101.
The cover here by Burchill on Heidenreich after Heidenreich is taken up pounding, and he's able to get up. Heidenreich, that is.
I really wouldn't be surprised if William Regal and Paul Burchill left Velocity here as the tag team champions. I wouldn't be.
Right now, Burchill in control of Heidenreich, trying that fisherman suplex, and gets it done. Burchill with a cover on Heidenreich. Heidenreich able to kick out before the count of two, and just like that, Burchill with another tag to William Regal.
Heidenreich is on his back. Burchill and Regal have made several quick tags.
Look at this, the count right here is William Regal thought he could steal those titles right there. It's a count to two. Another count on Heidenreich, this time only lasting till one.
William Regal and Paul Burchill could not have scouted this match better. It has gone picture perfect for the challengers thus far.
You have yet to see Heidenreich move past that midpoint of the ring. He has always continually been on the side of Burchill and Regal.
The X factor in tag team matches is real estate. I've said it before, and William Regal and Paul Burchill have owned this ring.
And look at that, William Regal staying to the count of five, holding Heidenreich in place until Burchill gets the exact spot where he can start hammering away.
This is a huge challenge, a huge task for the WWE Tag Team Champions, Road Warrior Animal and Heidenreich.
Oh, Burchill up in the air and down on Heidenreich. The cover on Heidenreich. This could be it. No. Burchill wants referee Nick Patrick to count faster.
Steve Murray, I think he'd be hard-pressed to find a tougher match thus far for the Tag Team Champions.
They match up extremely well. They, I mean, William Regal and Burchill. And here's that torture-type hold that Burchill likes to get. You know, this is hardcore, and speaking of hardcore, this past week on SmackDown, Hardcore Holly and Sylvan in a hardcore match.
Well, it's great to see a hardcore match on SmackDown. Haven't seen one of those in a long time. And Hardcore Holly taking out Sylvan.
What a perfect man to have in a hardcore match, huh?
Well, Hardcore Holly obviously upset about the infiltration of SmackDown by the Raw superstars. And Hardcore Holly taking his frustrations out on Sylvan.
Well, and not only, and he didn't take him out on Sylvan until, and I had the opportunity to interview Sylvan, the fact that Sylvan didn't really care what happened, and the fact that Raw invaded or what happened to Rey Mysterio. He was more concerned with himself.
Steve, no, you're not the important part of this story. The important part is the match that happened.
I was the conduit, to the fans. I was the conduit, from the superstars to the fans.
I think you're a suck-to-it.
Leave me alone, Josh Matthews.
Heidenreich
able to struggle over there, does get the tag. Road Warrior Animal, a big back body drop. Then an elbow to Regal. Animal knew Regal was coming. Then a body slam here on Burchill. Regal into the ring. And a big overhand right by Animal.
Road Warrior Animal, one half of the greatest tag team in the history of sports entertainment, the Road Warriors.
Look at that move. Taking that leg and spinning Burchill to the ground. Regal comes in just in time. Heidenreich in to help his partner, coming away, pounding Regal on the ropes. Body shots, then going to the head.
What the hell?
What is this? Melina and Eminem interrupting. Animal being pounded by Eminem. Oh! Eminem taking their opportunity for the cheap shot on Animal.
Well, Eminem is getting a jump start to what's going to happen on SmackDown.
The Mexicools are in the ring. The Mexicools start hammering away on Eminem.
These four teams will compete for the WWE Tag Team titles this week on SmackDown, but it's starting early.
Complete mayhem breaking down, and Animal getting, who are these guys? They're beating the crap out of Animal.
Oh, we saw these guys last week on SmackDown, and they're back.
And a devastating move to Road Warrior Animal as he meets the canvas. And there's no doubt, this is complete mayhem. Heidenreich, a shoulder breaker by Paul Burchill. Burchill and William Regal standing in the ring and sizing up, I guess, new addition, a new opponent. I don't know who they are.
Anarchy has ensued on Velocity. This tag team title match is obviously over.
And the bottom line is the champs have taken a toll. You're looking at Animal down on the canvas. Heidenreich right in front of our announce table. And William Regal's taking advantage of it by pounding away on Heidenreich. The match has already been a disqualification. Wow.
Well, what's going to happen this upcoming week on SmackDown? A fatal four-way match. The WWE Tag Team titles on the line. Regal, Burchill, LOD, Eminem, and the Mexicools.
It should be absolutely outstanding. He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Romero. We'll talk to you next week. Welcome back to Velocity. Time for the main event. The duo of William Regal and Paul Burchill. Nasty, nasty men.
Following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall, making their way to the ring from England at a combined weight of 504 pounds, William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Paul Burchill, a product of William Regal. Both of these men, rogues, and together, they will just rip you apart.
Well, they'll need everything they can muster because they will be taking on the Mexicools.
And at a combined weight of 412 pounds, Psychosis and Super Crazy Mexicools.
And I'll tell you what, Josh Matthews, tremendous support here for the Mexicools.
Everyone loves the Mexicools. Caucasian people want to be cool Cajuns. Mexicans want to be Mexicools. You wish the Mexicools would even talk to you.
You know, I do. You know, they nodded at me the other day. Or were you? Maybe there was somebody behind me.
There was definitely someone behind you. The Mexicools, super crazy, Psychosis, proven to the cruiserweight champion of the world.
The dude with the dude leading the way with that cruiserweight championship around his waist.
All three of the Mexicools, once a part of ECW. Juventud and Psychosis were a part of WCW, and now they're all together.
High-flying risk takers. There may be nobody that takes more risk and is more high-flying than Super Crazy.
I take a risk every time I sit down next to you to call a match.
Yeah, but they call that a low-risk maneuver. Well, Super Crazy and Psychosis will be the ones doing battle, and Juventud, I guess, perhaps directing traffic.
Juventud, the X factor in this matchup. Juventud will try to make sure that William Regal and Paul Burchill play by the rules. But I don't know who's going to make sure the Mexicools play by the rules. Maybe it'll be Scarlem's own Jimmy Corderas.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these two teams playing by the rules would be something new. William Regal coming in and working on the left arm of Super Crazy to start things off. And you know, Josh, Paul Burchill, a former teacher, if you can believe that. And I don't know what he may have taught, perhaps, torture devices, because that's what he likens himself to, is a torture device. He loves his holds, tries to get submissions, and loves to inflict as much damage as possible.
I'd hate to be disciplined by Paul Burchill.
What a nightmare.
The chance of Super Crazy reverberating off this arena.
And Burchill using his elbow and forehead immediately to begin this match. Super Crazy reverses off the ropes and the arm drag to Burchill. Oh, Crazy launching Burchill into the ropes.
I'm sure Paul Burchill has seen many styles, but this is a luchador style by Super Crazy.
Oh, look at the drop kick coming off the canvas by Super Crazy.
Paul Burchill, of course, trained by William Regal, and obviously everyone knows how well William Regal is versed in submission holds and wearing down an opponent.
Oh, Burchill just taking some serious abuses. The tag made, and the cover here, the count to 2.
That is that extreme luchador style by Super Crazy and Psychosis, that double team rolling leg lock.
It's unbelievable. You see how fast and how well the Mexicools move together. And you've got to wonder how far off could a tag team title be? Everybody chasing M&M, and now there's so many talented tag teams in the WWE, especially on the SmackDown side of things. Burchill trying with that elbow, can't get it done. But there is an elbow, and the cover here. The count to 2.
Well, now Paul Burchill has this match the way that he and William Regal scouted it out. That's to slow down the Mexicools, keep them off their feet, keep one of them in their corner, and that one may be Psychosis.
I'll tell you what. Oh! Tremendous strength applied here by William Regal, and a great tactic getting that tag right away to Paul Burchill. Josh, you see so many of the tag teams here on the SmackDown side of things, and we saw, you know, Batista and Eddie Guerrero, and they were foiled by M&M by way of the brass knuckles.
Well, Melina, she will get involved. That's for sure, and she'll even get involved in some matches.
It disappoints you to see her involved, doesn't it?
Well, not if I was Joey Mercury or Nitro. I'm sure these guys love that Melina is around all the time.
Yeah, I think they got it pretty good right there. Psychosis trying to hang in there against William Regal. Regal, look at the strength. Oh, that was ugly. Regal almost rearranging the neck of Psychosis in the cover, and somehow Psychosis able to kick out. Regal, another quick tag to Paul Burchill.
Beautiful move by William Regal. A release German suplex, but Regal had a half Nelson on his way.
Very scary move. I'll talk about scary and perhaps impressive. Ken Kennedy this past week beating Scotty Hotty down.
Mr. Kennedy continues his role over all the SmackDown superstars. You talk about somebody who may deserve a title opportunity in the very near future.
Talk about quick rising and making all the right moves at the right time. It appears that Mr. Kennedy is that man. And a nasty suplex by Burchill, the cover on Psychosis, and the count to 2.
Look at the eyes of Paul Burchill. He just will not quit. He will not stop. How do you control someone like Paul Burchill?
Could you imagine being late to Paul Burchill's class?
I'd like to be late to a match with Paul Burchill.
But yeah, like is he never showing?
Exactly.
Oh, Super Crazy comes in and he should be well rested. He's been on the apron for quite some time. Super Crazy with a series of drop kicks. Into the pickup. Look at the strength of Super Crazy on Regal. Super Crazy to the top rope. The cover on Regal. This could do it too. And at the last possible moment, Burchill saves Regal.
Well, Super Crazy hit that moonsault off the top rope. I thought the match was over, and now it's breaking down on Velocity.
Tremendous height on that moonsault by Super Crazy. Crazy trying to get Regal over, and
check out the juice.
It's different. Oh, look at when the referee's back is turned. The juice with the drop kick off the top rope. Super Crazy takes advantage. That's it.
Here we go.
William Regal and Paul Burchill cannot believe it. Who of the two picked the right opportunity, the right moment to come in and make a difference?
Oh, the Mexicools are laughing now at William Regal and Paul Burchill.
What a way to wrap things up. I'm Steve Romero. He's Josh Matthews. Talk to you next week. Time for the main events. Paul London and Brian Kendrick teaming up. And I love this tag team.
Following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall in the ring at a combined weight of 356 pounds. Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Kendrick and London have teamed before in the past here in the WWE before Brian Kendrick left for international borders. Now Kendrick back in the WWE once again teaming up with his best friend, Paul London.
Oh, and boy, will they have their work cut out.
And from England at a combined weight of 504 pounds, Paul Burchill and William Regal.
Josh, earlier in the show we talked about how the tag team division in SmackDown is simply off the charts, and these two, devastating, and Burchill, he's like a human torture device. You've got Regal, who's completely ruthless.
I know Paul Burchill and William Regal would love to get an opportunity at the WWE Tag Team titles. And we'll see if Regal and Burchill can outdo the cruiserweight duo of Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Well, London and Brian Kendrick certainly are ones that want to be noticed in this division. They're high-flying, they're quick, they've got great speed. They're going to have to use that to counter the ruthless antics of one William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Obviously, the size and strength advantage goes to Regal and Burchill, as does the nastiness factor. But the speed obviously goes to Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Okay, speaking of the nastiness factor, Edge Batista streak fight this past week on SmackDown really didn't happen. It was all a big setup by one Eric Bischoff, who right now has got the SmackDown superstars' attention.
It was all a ruse. It was a ruse by Eric Bischoff.
Oh, cover here on Brian Kendrick on William Regal.
The Raw superstars leaving Batista all alone in the middle of the ring, and out comes the Big Show and Kane. And now Raw basically trying to rip the heart out of SmackDown, taking out the World Heavyweight Champion.
Cover by Kendrick here, just a count to one before Regal can reach up and bring down Brian Kendrick.
And you know, Batista was left all alone. His good friend Eddie Guerrero received a concussion earlier in the night due to a chair shot from Mr. Kennedy, and that's why Eddie Guerrero couldn't come down to the ring to help out his friend Batista.
Several of the other SmackDown superstars were chasing after the limo of Eric Bischoff, and it left Batista alone and vulnerable, and the Raw superstars certainly took advantage.
I mean, Chris Masters put our general manager Theodore Long in the master lock. That's, you know, SmackDown superstars came out. We saw Matt Hardy, Lashley, and JBL, and then that was it. I mean, it was all a setup, like you said, Steve Morrell, by Raw on SmackDown. And I can't wait to see what the repercussions will be on both Raw and SmackDown as we get closer and closer to Survivor Series.
A wicked kick by Paul London. So Burchill here in London right now, showing a hint of nastiness and showing that he and Kendrick will not take some of these antics sitting down. Oh. Look at Kendrick and London teaming.
Ryan Kendrick built up some steam.
And then a sliding knee to the face of Burchill. Quick tag.
Kendrick and London working very well together. Quick tags, keeping the other man fresh.
There's that high flying quick speed by Kendrick and London.
Those are Japanese arm drags in stereo by London and Kendrick.
William Regal coming in and getting one full by Paul London and Kendrick. The back body drop, tremendous. Kendrick flings London into Burchill, and then London there for the step ladder for Brian Kendrick, who flies off and creams Burchill with that elbow.
Brian Kendrick and Paul London all day tough.
The count here on Burchill, able to kick out. Paul London almost had the match won right there. Paul London off to the ropes. William Regal pulls the ropes down, and London goes flying, and now Regal, with the referee's back turned, doing what he can to London to damage London. London rolled back into the ring.
This is William Regal and Paul Burchill's MO in this matchup.
Burchill with the cover on Paul London. You know, the knee to the small of the back. Sorry, Josh.
That's okay. You know that Regal and Burchill would love to just slow this match down to a grinding halt. Keep Paul London and Brian Kendrick on their backs. That's exactly what Regal and Burchill have done thus far in the latest moments of this matchup.
Well, the one thing they got to do, too, is to keep Paul London and or Brian Kendrick on their side, in their corner. They've allowed the two high flyers to tag a lot. That's what they're doing now. Regal, the tag to Burchill, both working off Paul London in the corner. Burchill takes over.
Under William Regal telling the referee he's sorry as Paul Burchill with a big Samoan drop.
Right on the ribs, the back of Burchill's head on the ribs of Paul London. And then that can't feel good either. London on his back, Kendrick comes in for the save.
Moonsault pressed by Paul Burchill. That's impressive to see a man of Burchill's size pop off that moonsault.
Oh, the figure four leg lock on Paul London, and Regal comes in and hammers away in the back of London's legs. Uh-oh. Look at the strength of William Regal, tossing Paul London aside like a rag doll. The cover to two.
That was a butterfly suplex, or a double underhook suplex there by Regal on Paul London.
And with the referee's back turned, Regal working on the face and the nose of Paul London. And setting up London for Burchill, who kicks London in the back, perhaps working on those kidneys, and that's got hurt. London, the back of London now has got to be getting stiff because he's had it worked on quite a bit.
Well, the longer this match goes, the more in favor Paul Burchill and William Regal are, due to the fact that London and Kendrick may run out of gas with their speed, and that's what we're seeing right now. Burchill and William Regal have just completely changed the pace of this matchup.
You see Burchill in a torture device-like grip that he has on Paul London. Working on the back kidney area, you're bruising those kidneys, and it really makes it tough to move. Paul London doing a great job of it right now. London with the counter, and smartly takes Burchill over in this corner in the tag. And a much-needed tag. Kendrick out of the top ropes, and the kick, followed up by a drop kick to William Regal, then another to Burchill.
Brian Kendrick's got all of his energy right now, taking out both William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Perfect timing for London to get that tag. Sorely needed it, and look how fresh Kendrick is. Burchill, and that'll do it. Anytime you get kicked in the back of the head, it can take you out, and that's what London and Kendrick do.
Brian Kendrick and Paul London.
Oh, a bit of an upset. Paul London and Brian Kendrick control mayhem and calculated chaos, pick up the victory over William Regal and Paul Burchill.
Just when you thought Regal and Burchill had the upper hand, the smaller team of London and Kendrick get it done. He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Romero. We will talk to you next week.
Hello and welcome to Velocity. Steve Romero alongside Josh Matthews. Armageddon is upon us. 4 matches made this past week. Velocity has the 4-1-1. One ball. Approaching the ring for Blackpool, England. Weighing in at 245 pounds. William Regal. Josh, are you pumped up for Armageddon?
I'm ready to go. I know everybody is ready to go for Armageddon. Everybody I know is talking about one thing, and that, my friends, is Hell in a Cell.
Undertaker and Randy Orton. It should be outstanding. More on that match as we continue. And from Westbrook, Maine, weighing in at 208 pounds, Scotty Hotty. And Scotty Hotty with his, I guess, normal ovation as he comes to the ring. That's jumping ability in late turns.
Yeah, no, I know that very well, and I know that 4-1-1 means information. I see that you got your hip dictionary and you busted out 2 terms already.
Well, you know, after working with you for a year, you know, something has to rub off. I don't have much of a memory, but what I do remember is good.
Yeah, we're only 30 seconds into the show, and you used both your terms. You should have spread them out. We got a lot of matches on Velocity.
You know, I'm going to jot that down, and I'll spread them out next time. How about that? All right. Thanks for the tip. Well, Scotty Hotty and William Regal starting us off. Regal has been nasty as of late. The rogue, the cheap shot will do anything it takes to win.
William Regal trying to get back on the right track, as is Paul Burchill. Both of them have competed in losing efforts against Lashley.
Well, a lot of people compete in losing efforts when you take on the likes of Lashley.
Well, Lashley experience continues to roll on SmackDown. I don't even think Lashley could beat Lashley.
Scotty Hotty with that side headlock on. William Regal to start things off here. Scotty off the rope, shoulder tackle on Regal. Nice start for Scotty Hotty.
This is what Scotty's going to need to do. Get William Regal off his feet, get Regal out of his game plan, and then Scotty may have a chance against the vile rogue, William Regal.
Well, right now, William Regal struggling a bit. Maybe a few teeth loosened from that shot by Scotty Hotty. Not a way to start things off if you're William Regal.
And Scotty's got to keep his eyes on Paul Burchill, because Burchill will interject himself at any point during this matchup.
No doubt about that. Scotty Hotty right now doing his best to get out of an arm situation. William Regal trying to work on that left arm of Scotty Hotty. Didn't last too long. Burchill already trying to announce his presence with authority. Speaking about announcing presence with authority, wow, what past week on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio and Batista, well, they're heading into their big show and Kane match at Armageddon, but first they would have to square off against the WWE Tag Team Champions, M&M.
And you want to make sure that if you're Batista and Rey Mysterio, that you didn't look past M&M, look towards Armageddon, where they will be battling the World Tag Team Champions from Raw, Kane and the Big Show. These two monsters have been infiltrating SmackDown for quite some time, and they'll do it again at Armageddon.
Well, M&M, of course, the tag team title holder, squaring off. Cover here by Scotty Hotty. Count to 2. William Regal able to get that right shoulder up. But the title's on the line. We'll show that match to you in a little bit.
Now, Melina was concerned about M&M having to face the World Heavyweight Champion Batista and the human highlight reel Rey Mysterio. So Melina, well, she made an offer to Batista, an offer that, the World Heavyweight Champion, or in my opinion, no man could refuse.
I know for a fact that you could not refuse that.
Definitely not, but unfortunately for Melina, her plan backfired, and Batista decided decided the match would go on after Molina's requests to cancel the match.
Oh, back body drop by Scotty too Hotty. He fired a big right hand to William Regal, who pleads for, I guess, a moment. Scotty too Hotty, instead of attacking, lets Regal back off a bit. I'll tell you what, Molina used her womanly powers to persuade Batista. And hey, I don't know anybody that really could turn Molina down or really go against what she had to offer, but Batista being the world heavyweight champion, I guess could do so.
I ain't saying Molina's a gold digger.
Hey, that's pretty good. Is that your one? Or are you going to spread it out?
I got about 6,000.
Good. I'm glad to know that. Well, Molina, not very happy, and you'll see why. William Regal right now trying to do his best to stand up as Scotty Tuati is taking a bit of control. A big kick. William Regal flat on his back.
Be a super kick.
Scotty hearing it from the crowd. They're getting pumped up. Time for the spelling bee. There it is. Might be the boogeyman spelling work, you know. Oh, Burchill trying to make a timely attack on Scotty Tuati, who ducks out of the attacker's way, and Burchill tossed out of the ring.
Smart move by Scotty, but you gotta get your eyes back on William Regal.
William Regal, the knee coming off the ropes to the cover on Scotty Tuati, and that is it, the count to 3. Scotty Tuati hung in there, but William Regal with the quick finish.
Yeah, it needed a tempo on the side of Scotty Tuati, and William Regal, with some help from Paul Burchill, picks up the 2.
Oh, time for the main event, and this should be simply outstanding. William Regal and Chris Benoit.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall, approaching the ring from Blackpool, England, weighing in at 245 pounds, William Regal.
William Regal's music matches his personality perfect. He's evil, he's torturous, he loves to inflict pain, and he really relishes that role.
Always great to see William Regal versus Chris Benoit. I get so excited for these matches. Regal and Benoit have had some battles in the past here on Velocity, and I expect nothing less in our main event.
Regal always looks like he's sucking on 11 as well.
And from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 234 pounds, the Rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
And a superstar who is always focused on the task at hand and tense every time he hits that ring. The Rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Expect to see a lot of headbutts to the face, some vicious shots, some great mat wrestling between Chris Benoit and William Regal right now.
We have seen some tremendous battles in the past with these two on Velocity, as Josh alluded to. Let's see what we have here. Both superstars in the middle of the ring, locked up, showing their strength.
They got to feel each other out here. That's exactly what William Regal and Chris Benoit are doing. If you're William Regal, you want to wrestle Chris Benoit. You want to get that English style and wrestle with the Rabid Wolverine. Chris Benoit will look to use those heavy chops and those headbutts, and he'll try to bloody the face of William Regal, no doubt about it.
Watch for Regal hitting on the break, much like he did with those two short elbows to Chris Benoit in the corner. Regal right now working on that left arm of Benoit, trying to keep Benoit grounded.
Many people consider the match between William Regal and Chris Benoit at the Brian Pillman Memorial Show quite a few years ago one of the greatest matches of all time.
Benoit attempts to roll out, does so, and it grabs that left leg of William Regal and starts to torque on it.
And you see William Regal, he doesn't want to stay flat on his back. Regal's got his hands up high, keeping Benoit away from his face, and William Regal will look to roll around on his back.
Oh, Benoit looking to figure 4 leg lock in, sitting on it right now, and that's got to cause some discomfort to William Regal. Ooh. I'll tell you what, strength and courage, both these superstars have it, but how about Rey Mysterio? A lot of heart and courage.
And he wouldn't back down from any challenge, but the match against the Great Khali, just a little too much for Rey.
Great Khali swatting Mysterio away like a fly. The Great Khali actually pinning Rey Mysterio with his boot. And then, of course, JBL swoops in to berate the world champion Rey Mysterio.
You've got to ask the question, is there a match for the power of this giant? So far, the answer has been no.
And William Regal just using the base of his boot, the bottom of his boot, to kick the forehead of Chris Benoit.
Oh, what a display of strength and flexibility by William Regal, able to pounce up to his feet. The chance of Chris Benoit by this crowd. Benoit using his legs and able to get that midsection of William Regal.
Well, Regal hit that monkey flip, wanted to float over, but Benoit got his legs up, and now Chris Benoit with that body scissors locked in tight. And Benoit's got to keep his shoulders off the mat.
Right now doing so, Regal looking for that opening, unable to find it. Benoit doing a great job blocking, but he does have his back to the canvas, Benoit does.
William Regal had almost like a key lock locked in on Benoit there, but you can see Benoit tightened up those legs, and William Regal had to release it.
Well, say what you want about the... Oh!
Chris Benoit trying to go for the crossface.
Benoit able to get a reversal. That is nice, able to counter. And doing what he can now to get William Regal in big trouble.
If Chris Benoit locks those hands around the face of William Regal, this match is over.
Regal doing everything he can to stay away from that crossface, able to slip out.
And now William Regal, Chris Benoit gave up his back to William Regal. That's one thing you don't want to do. Regal trying to lock in that crossface chicken wing. If he locks his hands, Benoit's in trouble.
Yeah, Benoit able to get that rope, and Regal's going to have to break. I'll tell you what, JBL really put himself in it this past week. He's really set Rey up. He's beat Rey up by the fact of who Rey has taken on, the world's strongest man, then the Great Khali this past week. JBL and Rey got into it a bit. Rey got some good shots in on JBL, and I'll bet right now Mysterio cannot wait to get his hands on JBL at Judgment Day, if he makes it.
Oh, Rey Mysterio, the biggest underdog champion in the history of the WWE. I don't know. I'm not Rey Mysterio. I don't know how Rey's feeling. I know Rey wants to be a fighting champion and take on everyone, but Rey Mysterio's got to have some doubts as he heads into this match against JBL. Every time Mysterio steps into the ring as champion, it could be the end for Rey Mysterio as the world champion.
And then you got to wonder what's coming up this week. There's still one more week before Judgment Day. What's JBL got planned for Rey this time?
I wonder what Chris Benoit has planned for William Regal.
Regal holding on to that top rope, and Benoit holding on to Regal for dear life.
Chris Benoit is trying to German suplex William Regal off the apron.
Oh! Regal coming down and putting Benoit out off the apron. Unbelievable. Benoit trying to get his wits about him. William Regal has gained control of this match right now. Benoit down. We'll be back in a minute. We are back, and right now, William Regal taking a shot at Chris Benoit, trying to gain that advantage. Benoit coming back with a couple of shots, and Benoit hits the canvas.
Big high knee there by William Regal, dropping Chris Benoit. And you know Regal's trying to draw blood on Benoit right now.
One of the things about these two superstars, Josh, is the fact that you think one gains control and there's so much harder than the other competitor that right when you think one thing's happening, it reverses quickly. A boot to the head of Benoit, whose head rattles against that steel post.
Chris Benoit's head had nowhere to go except for full force into that steel post. Chris Benoit may be knocked out.
Wow, what a violent shot by William Regal, intended to inflict as much damage as possible to the rabid Wolverine. And Chris Benoit has got to be dazed. Look at his eyes. He looks like he does not know where he is. Benoit really struggling.
That's a steel post that Benoit's head just bounced off of. Steel. Can you imagine hitting yourself in the head with steel and having to get up and compete? Oh!
And Regal keeping the pressure on that head area. And this is enough. Benoit, perhaps by instinct alone, able to kick out after the count of two. Wow. Crowd really on William Regal after that shot to Chris Benoit.
And Regal, this is a version of an abdominal stretch, but Regal's got his hand, his arm, around the neck of Chris Benoit, stretching out the entire body of Benoit, the entire midsection. Chris Benoit locked up right now. Benoit has nowhere to go.
And not only that, Benoit, who's trying to get his wits about him, really struggling to get air. So right now, William Regal in control.
These fans, these great fans are trying to get behind Chris Benoit. Benoit trying to power out, turns him around successfully, and Benoit has escaped.
Benoit with a chance to get back going, and a big old shot to the face, and a backhand to the face of William Regal. Chris Benoit doing what he can to get back into this match.
Well, we all know how hard Chris Benoit throws those chops, and that chop was aimed squarely at the forehead of William Regal.
Well, you're watching a great match here on Velocity, and hey,
Benoit's going for the sharpshooter.
Oh, and look at Regal doing what he can, pokes to the eyes to try to get Benoit off him, and able to do so. Seeing as great as this match is.
Regal stretch. William Regal's going for that Regal stretch. Sorry to interrupt you, but William Regal's trying to end this match right now.
Regal working his way up. He's got Benoit's legs tied up. And Benoit is really taking all kinds of damage in this match. How does he keep going?
Chris Benoit's not going to want to give up his hands here, but he's obviously got no choice to William Regal. And Regal pulling back here.
Oh, man. Regal right now has Chris Benoit completely knotted up. Benoit has got to find a way to get out of this. He's short of breath, and he's been dazed for the past few minutes. Oh, and a shot to the kidneys and an elbow to the face. Benoit able to escape.
Well, that's twice. Chris Benoit has looked to be completely tied up by William Regal, and Benoit's been able to get out. Exploder suplex there by William Regal, and William Regal seems to be out on his feet.
Tremendous show of strength by both these superstars as they've gone several minutes in this match just beating the heck out of one another. Regal with the knee to the throat and face of Chris Benoit, and another cover to count to two. One more time. Benoit on his back for a third time and somehow stays alive. One more time, Benoit able to kick out, and not only that, grabs that bottom rope.
I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Every time William Regal goes for those covers, Chris Benoit has to exert all of his energy to kick out.
Chris Benoit back to his feet once again. Reversing it now on Regal. Look at that show of strength. Despite being beaten up this past few minutes, Benoit reaching deep.
A beautiful suplex by Chris Benoit out of that full Nelson. William Regal driven right on his head.
Both of these superstars doing everything they possibly can. The German suplex by Chris Benoit. There's one, then another.
Chris Benoit, hands locked. Regal's in trouble.
Regal pounding away to the face of Chris Benoit, trying to break that grip, and he does. Wow.
And now Regal looks to be going for a butterfly suplex. Benoit with strength reverses.
Benoit reaching down and getting it done.
Crossface coming.
Benoit trying to get that crossface in, hammering the hand away from William Regal. He's got it in. Benoit has got that crossface locked in. The hand is up by William Regal, and there it is. Regal taps out. Regal taps.
Here's your winner, Rabbit Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Unbelievable. Chris Benoit and William Regal. Benoit able to pick up the victory.
William Regal, no choice but to tap out in this 5-star matchup between two tremendous superstars.
Judgment Day rapidly approaching. What's going to happen this upcoming week on SmackDown? He's Josh Matthews. I'm Steve Romero. We'll talk to you next week.